Hi, welcome to That's a Thing Accent Core. It is episode 0.66. It is Monday, and I'm Drew.
I'm Kevin, also known as Raylith. That's what we're doing. A lot of stuff going on. We are in week 3 of quarantine cast. We're
Yep.
have you seen anything quarantine related that's made you upset lately?
Okay, so I found out that, we are potentially getting $1,200 one time
Yes.
from the federal government.
Yeah.
And it's likely that's going to come out of our taxes next year.
Oh yeah. It's a
Meanwhile, Canada, they're going to be getting $2,000 for the next 4 months.
Also, Britain is paying a salary, like I think it's 70 to 80%. If you're,
Yeah.
yeah. PSA about that 1,200 check. What that bill also did was give you like federal assistance to unemployment. So if you have lost a job for Corona, you fill out that unemployment as quickly, like ASAP, because that's gonna help. Normally, you should always do unemployment, but I'm just saying now, make sure to get on that. Make sure if you're out there and in your work, like get on that, because that stuff that'll help. Take that money. You take it.
Yeah.
But
it's your money and you need it now.
Yeah, exactly. Use the stand J.G. Wentworth.
Yes.
So I was upset because as I am effectively Uber Eats for my dad. So I drive out and get food whenever, like takeout, etc. And when I was driving out, I just saw a bunch of people playing basketball at the park, like a bunch of people, and then the park was full. It was just like a normal weekend where everyone's just kind of hanging out, and it bothered me because I have to be treated like a quarantined leper, and it's like, no, you got it. It was that tweet that someone made where it was like, I feel like I'm in kindergarten and we keep losing recess because people won't stop talking. And I'm just like, please shut up. Stay inside for 2 weeks, please, because when you're out there, that's going to prolong this. It bothers me so much because, like, please, just stop it. Just stop it.
Just stop. Just stay home. And, like, I will say for this part of the country, it's the past 3 days have been like 70 and 80 degrees.
Oh, yeah. People are going out.
I don't know what to do.
And that's not to say you can't go out. Like, I still believe if you want to do a relatively solo activity, like you're going for a walk and you're not in a group of people, or because there's things you can do. I still go for my walks outside, but I'm not around people. And if there is someone else where I'm walking around the neighborhood next to the elementary school that's now abandoned, and if someone else is walking, I just go to the other side of the street. But there's a difference between because I do think going outside's fine. Doing that and then going, you know what, I'm going to get in a group of people and we're all just going to hang out at the park, just hang out, total group of people. And I'm like, no, that's not the same thing. Are you there, Drew?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm still here. I don't.
Yeah, because
it's wild.
It's really wild, and it's oh god, because I don't consider myself. What am I trying to say here? I don't consider myself
A
some
responsible, contributing member of society.
Yeah, that's right. But when you're not even doing my level, what the hell are you doing? I consider myself at the bare minimum, almost probably worse than the bare minimum. And then there are people that are like way, way down there. It's like, what are you doing? I'm taking the dog out for a walk every day. Well, yeah, that's part of what I do because I'm Uber Eats. I take the dog out for a walk and let it poop outside. And I try to let it poop next to the road so I don't have to pick it up. Because if it poops in someone's yard, you got to pick it up. But it's like, and people aren't doing that. You're not doing it. What are you doing?
And it's like, I live in an apartment complex that's mostly old people.
Yeah.
So I've been, like, extra careful of, like, going to meet up with, like, friend, and even when it's, like, less than 10 people, just because.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for someone's grandma time.
Exactly. That's why I'm in quarantine cast, because I don't want, basically, podcast regulars Nolan and Cody, and you, I don't want, me too, I don't want my grandparents or someone else's grandparents to die, and it's, well, that was me.
You did it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, haha, sorry guys, I was sick and I didn't know. Oops. My bad. I can't do that.
Like, it's just 2 weeks. You just have to go inside and just not conglomerate for 2 weeks. That's it.
You don't even have to go inside. You just don't have to go in a massive group for 2 weeks socially. You could, well, that's what I'm saying. It's in, and I do recommend, you can still go for a walk outside. You could probably, I can look outside of my apartment, and because there's the church kind of behind my apartment little building, and there's a little field. You could go walk out there. There's no one out there. There's a gazebo. You can sit there if you want. It's fine. But just don't congregate. That's all you have to do, is not congregate for 2 weeks.
The kindergarten analogy is just so spot on for the situation we're...
Yeah. And that's ugh. Because it's just, please. And it's, and part of it is even though personally I'm not worried about getting the virus, but the fact that everything's shut down because of the virus is affecting me greatly. And I like sports. I'm not getting sports probably till football starts up in the fall.
Yeah, no esports either.
Well, League of Legends has come back. They've gone back to the old ways where it looks like they're in the esports where they're just all kind of Skyping in and commentating replays, and it is welcome. That's one of the things I've been watching as a somewhat sense of normality and as a quaint reminder of the past.
Yeah, it's there are FGC online tournaments going on, but all the big major ones are just canceled.
Oh yeah, they're all gone. The Magic the Gathering release schedule is messed up for a while. I'm not going to get the Loading Ready Run pre-release, which is always a great little stream where they play the new set 2 weeks early, and you get to see all the cool cards, but I'm not going to get that. Not this time.
Is that another Theros expansion?
No, this is Ikora Land of Behemoths. It's a new thing full of big
Okay,
monsters.
so yeah, they are now just doing every set is one plane and moving on.
Yep. At least
that feels so weird.
At least that's what this current this year in Magic has felt sort of like an experiment to seeing like, hey, how's this going? Do people like it? My gut tells me that next year is going to be a 3-plane block and it's going to be Norse mythology. I'm feeling we're going to have a Norse plane because that's the only major one where we haven't had anything. There has not been the Norse one, and you also get to bring back snow permanents for legacy and all that shenanigans. So that's my Magic the Gathering theory.
I like that you say that's the only one that we haven't touched.
Well, because, I mean, okay, the only major one, unless I'm forgetting something, because we have, okay, so they've, like, I mean, there's been, like, I know you've had, what was it called? Crap, I forget. It was, Ravnica, I'm just going to say, Ravnica is basically Eastern Europe. It's like Prague. That's where Ravnica is based on. The Celtic stuff is more in line with Lorwyn. I think Lorwyn is a lot of, like, it's kind of Celtic-y, folktale-y stuff. You've had, I wish I could remember the name. My brain just died. It's the one with, it's like the artifact plane. It was vaguely Indian.
Mirrodin?
What?
Mirrodin?
No, not Mirrodin. It was Kaladesh. Kaladesh is Indian. It's like from India, like that kind of region. It's really cool. I like a lot of how it's like you got a lot of artifacts, but they're all kind of like they're artsy. It's cool. I like Kaladesh. You have the Amonkhet for Egypt. You have obviously Theros is Greece and Rome. So, I mean, you need Norse. Tarkir was like Kanagawa was Japan. Tarkir was like Mongolia, kind of China. That's where like
mainland Asia.
Yeah, mainland Asia was Tarkir. So we haven't had Africa, and we haven't had
South America.
No, South America was kind of Ixalan. It's that kind of like you had the kind of Aztec-y like stuff going on there. Like Ixalan is South America, pirates, that kind of Caribbean kind of region. I think Africa.
Yeah, this makes me realize I have no idea what Kaladesh is then.
Yeah, so Kaladesh, it was the set right before Magic Arena got in there. It was part of the block. It was I don't know if you can't see it, but it has a lot of, I would describe like flowery, like a lot of artifacts, but they're a lot of like fancy and they're kind of lithe and windy and look really cool.
Ornate.
Yeah, it's a really ornate artifact. Yeah, and it's a big artifact plane. Like the symbol is like yeah.
I don't know that I agree with Ravnica being Eastern Europe.
Well, I mean it's Europe in general. I know it was based on.
Also, what's the like Nightmare Land thing?
Oh,
Avacyn?
Crap! I forgot that stupid thing's name. I'll remember
Avacyn?
it. No, Avacyn is the she's the angel. She's not the plane.
But that's the place, right?
No, the
Yeah,
plane
but that's
is
the place.
the plane is I'm just pulling up the old Magic the Gathering wiki.
That's fine.
Innistrad.
Yeah.
Innistrad. Yeah, Innistrad. That's like the Transylvania kind of Eastern Europe. All I know is that I watched the Ristic Studies video and it said Ravnica was based on Prague architecture. So that's all I assume. Ravnica is Prague.
Everything else I can kind of like go along with, but Ravnica just doesn't feel like it's because it's one giant city. It has a lot of different motifs throughout, and we've been there 3 times, so that motif has also grown.
Yeah.
And also the latest Ristic Studies, I bailed like halfway through because it just felt like he was too.
It was. I think he had a point, but the point didn't make as much sense because his point was if this, so let's say because we were going back to Theros, that it would be reminiscence of Theros. If the plane was not Theros, it was some like so let's say Theros is Greek, and if this was the Roman plane or whatever, I think he would have.
Why don't you use Kamigawa and Tarkir as an example?
Yeah, like if you're doing that, but it was still vaguely. If Tarkir was still like Kanagawa, you'd be like, why is this not Kanagawa? You're just you're not redoing it. But I think his syllabus failed because it's the same place. You're going back to the same place later, which means you're not going to get. You're gonna get here's the lion that Hercules slain. You're gonna get that same kind of card again because you're going back to the same place. You're saying,
and also that he complained like so many creatures looked similar to other creatures of that species.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to get at. You're going like, well, yeah. You're saying, why is there a Dimir Guildmage in the first Ravnica set, and then we go back, and then there's another Dimir Guildmage. What the hell's up with this? It's like, well, yeah, they're still there.
Yeah.
That one, I think that would have been an interesting video, but its problem was that that it was the same
premise from the start.
Yeah. It didn't now if it was something like we go to Ikora, land of behemoths, and then all the crap from Ixalan is there, you're gonna be like, okay, you messed up. You have no new ideas. But that's neither here nor there. All right, before I forget, you're reading Yu Yu Hakusho. Tell everyone your Saint Beast theory.
Well, I'm watching it.
Same diff. You're consuming Yu Yu Hakusho again.
Yeah, because it's the Saint Beasts get mad talked up before they go to the cast.
Yeah.
And Yusuke has had 6 months of training with Genkai for sure, but he's still a long way away from being an A-class powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, even didn't they say Toguro was like a B?
No, I think Toguro is an A-class.
Okay, but it was.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
My brain, or maybe I'm getting that confused with the Chimera Ants being technically a B.
Yeah, where they're not the worst case scenario for the world.
No,
because all it took to stop them was a nuke.
Yeah, that was baby times. Yeah, okay, so continue on with Saint Beast.
So if they're powerful enough to have like a whole demon religion sprout up and surround them, it doesn't make sense that 4 early going adventurers should be able to deal with it.
Well, I mean...
But... Yeah.
So I always assumed that the top guy was that strong, but the others were just sort of there. Like,
They were coasting.
yeah, they are the guys going, okay, I need, like, me being the Saint Beast is but if I say for Saint Beast, it kind of makes it more impactful. So I have these other three guys, and they're there.
Four Saint Boys.
Yeah.
Four Saint Beast sounds better than one Saint Beast and his boys.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's like, because that's more intimidating. I always assume that was more intimidating, where if like the head guy, who I believe is the strongest, and you say, oh shit, there's three more of you? Fuck. And the other three just need to look really tough. They don't have to be as tough as him, but they have to be intimidating enough that the other demons wouldn't test him. That's always been my theory, my fan theory.
So my fan theory is now, what we know about Yusuke's like stand-in dad is that he is still one of the strongest demons in the demon world, and he's been starving himself for centuries and is way weaker than he used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me that the four Saint Beasts, what with being locked in their own castle, don't get to feed like they should, and have thus, like, over the centuries gotten weaker and weaker from where they should be.
Yeah, I mean, to me that makes sense, because that was the whole plot of them doing the bugs, was to try to get out. The whole bug flute was just getting out of that castle.
Yeah, it was just taking the city hostage so they could get relief.
Yeah, I also assumed, at least for a few of them, that they had I would call it the Goku problem, where, like, they didn't go, maybe this is me misremembering it, but they didn't go all out at the beginning, where you're like, oh, I'm going to fight you evenly, and then you realize that by fighting you evenly, he's actually are able to just kind of slightly get higher than you and take you out before you fully powered up. And maybe, if I'm remembering...
I think that's just Kuwabara's fight.
Yeah.
Because the Kuwabara and the lion, or the tiger, goes from full health to dead because Kuwabara successfully punches him into the lava.
Yeah. That was my memory of something where it was like, oh yeah, like you didn't take him seriously, and then that screwed up.
Yeah.
Was that the fight where Yusuke put the shoes on his hands?
Yeah, because they're rubber soles, so that way you can punch the electricity that's being shot at him.
Yeah, I remember that. No, but I think your theory is valid. That makes sense compared to demon ecology. Also, there's the idea, because of that Toguro barrier, that once you get strong enough, you can't escape, because that barrier, power level wise, only lets through weaklings and not lets through the strong people. So you're just kind of, if you get too strong, you're going to be stuck in your castle until you get weak enough to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, to transition, I've also... okay.
I just wanted to keep talking about Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
I just have one more thing really that I want to say about it. And I think what makes that show so good is that all of the characters give each other shit.
Yeah. that is true. No one in that show, everyone in that show is constantly shit talking each other.
Yeah, like they're always dumping. It doesn't matter how cool the thing you just did, like they're gonna dump on you anyway.
Like, good job, idiot. You beat that guy. You got lucky. I would have done it easy. Yeah. Oh, look at you.
Kurama lost to a dead guy.
That's... Oh man. So I wanted to transition to the show I've been watching, which is the other king, the hidden king of the shonen paranormal action, which is Ghost Sweeper Mikami, still really good.
You start watching it again?
Yeah. It's incredible.
What episode number were we on? Because I might start watching it again too.
The last episode we watched, you might want to watch part 1 if you can't remember, but they kind of tell you what goes on. It was, I'm looking it up right now on the old YouTubes okay, yeah, it was, I think we stopped at 21. So the one which is part 1. So yeah, and that was where Ghost Sweeper Mikami got turned into a kid by the clown. Yeah. And then part 2's good, and then it gets better. Stuff starts going on, and I'm not gonna ruin it, but man, that show is great. And I finally realized, or maybe I've forgotten, but the show it reminds me of the most is Kim Possible, where it's kind of episodic, but if Kim Possible was Shigo, that is Ghost Sweeper Mikami, because she is terrible, and they've leaned into it as the show has gone on, where formerly Yokoshima was, you're like, oh man, this guy sucks. And he's terrible. And as it's gone on, they've given Yokoshima kind of a heart of gold, even though he is perverted and terrible. And they've emphasized all of Mikami's flaws, so she's terrible too, and it's great. I love it.
Alright.
And it's just it's the comedy is on point. The comedic timing is impeccable. I don't want to spoil it. Because stuff in the later episodes, cool things happen, and what you want to happen happens, and you get to see, maybe this is where some other manga people got their inspirations for some of their monster designs. I'm not going to say who, but I will say a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters make way more sense after a few things that happen in Ghost Sweeper Mikami. And it's just, that show's great. It's real good. It's also, it's because why it reminds me of Kim Possible is it's doing that thing that Kim Possible did where people are starting to give Yokoshima props for not being dead. Everyone's like, and everyone's kind of going like, you know what? You're not dead. That's impressive. You being alive and everyone's starting to like give him some respect, even though he is cowardly and useless, but he is not dead, and that means something. And they're all like, yeah, that there's something there.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're coming through events where like a demon is just absorbing the souls out of people around it, and you're still here.
You didn't die. You went backwards in time and got through it. You were that's impressive. Not many people could have gotten way out of them going bathrooms been erased, had your entire past erased, and you somehow survived it. That's impressive. You did it. But oh god, it's just that show. It's one of the where Yu Yu Hakusho and Usho and Tora are obvious. It's obvious why those are got the award and are the king. I think Mikami from just looking at it, if you looked at like the synopsis and even like the first or second episode, you're like, this is pretty good, but I don't get why it's that caliber. And then as it goes on, you realize it is that caliber. It's just a comedy episodic show, and it nails it.
It's just weird that it's like 3 supernatural demon hunting shows won that award in a row.
That's why they're the 3 kings. And I'm like, oh, it's interesting because I think Yu Yu Hakusho is better than Ushio and Tora. I can say that. I think Yu Yu Hakusho is better than Ushio and Tora. I can't compare Yu Yu Hakusho and Mikami because they're too different.
See, I don't know. It's kind of... I had a yawn. I like Yu Yu Hakusho more than Ushio and Tora, but I think it's like because the anime for Yu Yu Hakusho that I watched looks how anime should look to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Ushio and Tora does not look bad by any means, but it's made in more contemporary times, so it doesn't look like 90s and 80s anime. And that hurts it. Not tremendously, but enough for Yu Yu Hakusho to have an...
I'll also say... Oh, wait, you go, yeah, keep going.
Ghost Sweeper is also made in that same era, so at least it has that going.
And to me, it's weird because in some aspects, I feel like Ghost Sweeper Mikami holding up and still being funny is more impressive. Because a cool fight is always a cool fight. But a joke can age quickly. A joke can age real fast and get real bad. But it's the comedic timing of those jokes are so good.
Yeah, but Yu Yu Hakusho is also still funny.
Yeah. I would also say not because I do like Ushio and Tora a lot. I don't want to just crap on it. I think it ends way better than Yu Yu Hakusho. I think the ending of Ushio and Tora wraps everything up way more nicely than Yu Yu Hakusho's. Yu Yu Hakusho's ending is kind of... That's not the strongest part of that show. And understandably, because Togashi was like murdering himself doing it, and he just kind of had to end it. Whereas Ushio and Tora, everything wrapped up, and I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense how everything's wrapped up. I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, that stuff is great.
Also, I don't know that any villain in Yu Yu Hakusho is as good as... what's it?
Hakumen no Mono.
Hakumen no Mono.
Hakumen no Mono is really good. The closest one in Yu Yu Hakusho, I would say, is Sensui.
Yeah.
I think he's the best villain in Yu Yu Hakusho. Also,
yeah, I can.
Also, did it make more sense about Sensui's gun arm after knowing what Space Adventure Cobra is, and you get that reference now?
Yeah, that Cobra has a psycho gun, and that's why Sensui's arm turns into a psycho gun.
Yeah, it makes way more sense because before I didn't understand what was up with that.
Why he just got to be like, bang, I have a gun, Yusuke.
It's the same thing as when you see Kitaro having the spirit gun, and you're like, oh, I get it. That's a riff on Kitaro. But Yusuke Urameshi is not like Kitaro at all. That's the joke. Or that's the twist. I get it.
Yeah.
That would have made way more sense if I was a Japanese, instead of seeing it in high school and going, okay, that's just cool. and then seeing Kitaro do it, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, the same way that we got Dragon Ball after Dragon Ball Z.
Oh Lord. And I think it's still one of the most interesting things is that the DBZ Bruce Falconer soundtrack that gives, and the dub that gave Dragon Ball Z a way different tone than it had. Because if you know it's coming from Dragon Ball, you sort of know the goofiness kinda. Whereas in that old dub made it seem way more serious and like hardcore. And you're like, yeah. But it's like, nah.
Walk the drag.
Yeah, Dragon Ball's kind of silly. That's the point. It's kind of silly.
People were so bad about the Battle of the Gods movie.
Oh yeah, because they didn't know. They hadn't known. They probably didn't see Dragon Ball and knew that that's the tone. Battle of the Gods. That movie's great. That movie's really good.
Yeah. Have you seen the Broly movie yet?
I have not seen the Broly movie yet.
I rewatched the fights a couple ago.
I think
that fight scene is like half the movie or something.
I watched one of the fight scenes. I watched the Gogeta fight scene because I was like,
well, no, that's the thing. It's all one fight.
Oh, it just keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Well, that's kind of what you want. It's
awesome.
Yeah.
That movie maybe has like the best use of CG in an anime film so far. Because it does some like switching between CG models and hand-drawn animation, and you can still tell when it happened, but it is not that big of a gap between.
Yeah, like it's their Arc System Works has figured out the way to render out an anime character, so now they can actually make CG anime not look as distracting.
Now, what are the worst CG anime examples?
Well,
I'll tell you one.
What?
The Ghost in the Shell standalone comic. So,
yeah, the
Major's
opening.
teeth.
That one's bad. There's a Goglo 13 CG helicopter that's really.
Helicopter?
It's really bad. It's one of those where it's I think my go-to example for distracting CG is Radioactive Spider-Man in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where at the time I thought it was cool, but you look back on it, you're like, ooh, that's so jarring and bad. It's not. Few things are as just.
Also, just in the Amazing Spider-Man, all the buildings when he's web swinging.
Yeah. Ugh. It's no good. You gotta use that CG properly.
Okay. What was that thing I think Nolan retweeted this week with like all the babies and the gorilla?
Oh Lord, yeah, one of those. Yeah, that's one of those Chinese like finger family videos where it's like kid video happy time, and it's unsettling. Ugh. I feel like that's some kind of subliminal programming, and then you're going to be activated. Some child's going to be activated. It's the weird gorilla jumps into the ball pit.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I didn't like it at all.
But I didn't like it.
It was disconcerting. We can talk, because we got about 10 more minutes. We can talk about, we played Anomaly again, for better and worse. Get the post-mortem of what happened.
Yeah, so we were just less focused. I don't know. I think we had an issue this time where definitely one of the major problems was what should have just been a throwaway world design thing wound up being way more important because we didn't realize it was just supposed to be something thrown out there.
Yeah. I also think it was part of the issue is the first time we did it, we said effectively it was the SCP, which means tone is already established. Because whenever I say SCP, you basically know what kind of tone you're going for, what kind of monsters, effects, reactions. You have a rough structure, and it's also set in the real world, so you sort of know, okay, this is what a mall looks like. Whereas in the one we did, we said space colony, where so much was undefined that you had to define things. You had to define things at the base level and just kind of assume, and maybe we weren't all on the same page for that.
Yeah.
Because if you say...
I think we should have spent more turn defining the world in the early parts of it.
Yeah. Or even before the game begun said, okay, this is what the thing is. If it's not... Because when we say a small town mall, we know what that is. But if you say a mining station in space, that could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
I also think...
We got there.
We did get there. It just was... It's also, I think the big problem is I forgot the element that the fungus and the machines were using the mind control. I thought it was just the fungus. I forgot that it was established. So I committed the author's sin of forgetting how the world worked and assuming it worked another way until it came back. We're like, oh crap.
Oh, that game. I don't know. It's. I think the other issue is we screwed up in making one of our key team leaders the guy from Jurassic Park that gets eaten on the toilet.
Yeah, and also
that ruined the tone from the start.
I also think the issue, and this is my fault, was instead of having one anomaly, we had two, and that made it too weird because you're supposed to have. What? Oh, we did have three. Oh Lord, yeah, we had the defunct memory. You had the defunct memory factory, the alien fungus, and a rogue AI, and that just made things too bizarre because it's like, no, you did one of these.
Yeah.
It got, and it was like, I was like, okay. And we also, the issue is that I think depending on the situation, temperance should not be acted upon. And I think that was the issue. Is that the temperance, which is basically cease all activity for a while, everyone calms down, which I can see in some scenarios is worth it, but sometimes I think you might want to ignore that and just say, I do a meeting just to so that the momentum doesn't slow down and then problems arise. Because when the momentum slowed, that was when number 3 showed up, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember anymore.
Oh, it was a fever dream. It was, and also I didn't do it. I only realized it halfway through that I had apparently made System Shock 2, which is all about a rogue AI trying to fight a biomass that got equally smart to it, and it didn't like it because Shodan made this biological thing that got a hive mind and as smart as Shodan, and they were fighting. And I was like, crap, I did that accidentally.
Yeah, I have no experience with System Shock, so that it was all new territory to me.
Oh yeah, so it was, I guess that's one of my fears with Anomaly is that I'll think I'll do something really cool and creative, and it turns out I've just ripped off some video game or D&D monster.
Yeah. Oh, if you've learned anything from watching Japan cartoons, Kevin, just rip things off.
Yeah, rip something old off, so then it makes you sound really cool. Like I've been, because whenever I don't have anything else to do, I just go listen to D&D monster stuff. I'm still on that train. And right now I'm working through the Demon Princes. And the Demon Princes are all radical. I have two favorites.
Wait, Demon Princes?
Yes.
Okay, so Chaos.
Yeah. These are the Chaos, not the devils. These are the demons. They're more chaotic. I like Pazuzu. Pazuzu's great. Because Pazuzu's whole thing is Pazuzu wants to corrupt people. And how Pazuzu corrupts people is if you are a lawful good person, Pazuzu will give you aid with no strings attached. The demon will help you out of the kindness of its heart because that sows doubt. It won't ask for your soul or anything. It'll just be like, oh, you're in trouble. I'll just let you escape. I'll use my powers and let you escape. And I'm not going to ask for anything in return. Genuinely, I will help you. And that's how it works.
So apparently demons aren't all bad.
Oh, they're evil. So Pazuzu's goal is to corrupt you, but It's the long con corruption. It's the, I've corrupted you by making you doubt that you needed my help, and I was willing to offer it, but not your paladin god, your good god. They didn't help you. But in the time of need, the demon showed up and was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And I won't ask for your soul or anything either, because it's corrupting by being nice. And I like an evil thing that's corrupting champions by just being nice and helpful. My other favorite is Zuktmoy, who...
Their names are so dumb.
Oh, that's what's great, because all these names are from the 70s, and they just evolved. Zuktmoy is the coolest. She is the demon queen of fungus, or the demon prince of fungus. Well, they're all princes, even though it's Hunter x Hunter, how they're all princes, despite but. So, spoilers from the 1970s Dungeons & Dragons module, Temple of Elemental Evil. But, so Zuktmoy is this demon queen god of fungus, but no one wants to worship her because she's the demon queen god of fungus, and fungus sucks, and everyone hates it, even though she's really tough. So what she did is she made a thing called the Temple of Elemental Evil, so people would go there and do rituals, because Elemental Evil sounds really cool. She had fake Elemental Evil cults going on, but they were really Zuktmoy cults. So it's oh, you want to worship the Fire King Gargalorg or whatever. Yeah. But really, you're worshiping the fungus lady in the basement because no one likes her, and apparently Dungeons and Dragons players in the 70s hated that twist they hated that the twist of the Temple of Elemental Evil is actually, it's the fungus demon because she's tricking people because no one wants to worship the fungus demon. They got mad. But I think that's incredible. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about. Do you want to talk about something?
I don't know that I really have anything else. It's just mostly been Yu Yu Hakusho and schoolwork for me.
Yeah. What was I going?
I will say I feel weird in that I feel that I am only benefiting from the pandemic.
Oh yeah, it's not. It is affecting me, but the effect is mild. It's kind of like, well, what am I doing in the evening? I'm sitting on the couch watching YouTube videos with the cat. What would I do normally? I would sit on the couch and watch YouTube videos with the cat. My life is not changed that much, other than my sports and sports talk is completely gone. Some live events I like to watch are gone. And I don't like being treated like I'm a leper when I'm going to CVS pharmacy to buy earplugs. And it feels like even though I understand why, but I don't like the idea where it's kind of like everywhere. I feel like I'm being treated as if I am. I know I am, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like being treated as if I'm like diseased.
Not the issue, but I'm also have the advantage that now I'm getting to work from home for my library job. So I get to wake up whenever I want and work whatever hours that I want. And then all of my school assignments, due dates have been erased, and one of the final projects has been deleted.
So it's just easy, yeah. So you have that guilt where the pandemic is a net positive for you, and you don't know how to process that exactly.
Yeah, it feels like really shitty. I'm like, well, things are better for me as the world is falling apart.
It's like, yeah, keep it going. This is great. I'm gonna get my life has gotten easier. My workload's way less, and then I'm getting a check for money. Wow.
Yeah, it's not right.
And then, but it's, yeah, I can feel that. I do understand that conundrum.
Yeah. And I'm glad I'm not graduating this year, because then there would be problems of job hunting during this is a nightmare, it sounds like.
Oh, Lord, of course, because unemployment's going to skyrocket. It's why we are going to hit Depression 2. The Great Depression 2. It's coming.
Yeah. So,
I mean, my upside is that it would take a Great Depression 2 to solve any societal change, which I think we're getting there. Which,
Yeah, it sucks that that's what it takes to solve societal change.
Oh, it does.
The Great Depression was, 10 years?
I think it was, it was like, it was basically till World War II.
Yeah, it was like 29 to 39.
Yeah. Something like that. Rough. That's how it goes. What was it? That reminds me of something where I was thinking about. Yeah, that was part of what I was thinking about, like the idea. Oh no, this might be. I'm too stupid, and this is too much of a higher topic to get into in the last 5 minutes of the podcast. But whatever. Where it's the idea of what makes someone smart, and in my own brain, I'm thinking that I consider myself stupid, but it's like because the things I know are worthless, like Dungeons and Dragons monster ecologies. I'm like, yeah, I know that. but that has no practical value anywhere.
My rule of thumb for life is a full walking will go farther than a genius.
I that cut out a bit. You have to repeat it.
Oh, my rule for life is that a full walking will go farther than
A jog or a run. Or a
Am I
genius.
still cutting out?
Yeah, you're like cutting out at like the second part of the thing. It's like a full walking wheel and then it blanks. If I'm smart, I will end the podcast as you say it again. So what is the quote?
A full walking will go farther than a genius sitting.
Okay, I didn't stop it because I wanted the quote because that would have been madness for me, and I don't need more madness. Yeah, that's.
I mean, you could have just stopped the recording and then just listened to it as I said it.
Yeah, but that's why I'm a full walking later day.